Hello everyone and welcome to the first ever GavsWeatherVids commentary video. So over the years I always thought about doing a commentary video to one of the bigger videos on the channel. It's not something that I've ever had time to do or get round to, but I have always thought that it'd be fun to go back and revisit one of the bigger videos on the channel and do a commentary to that video where I will post my thoughts and ideas as we go along. And I'm excited about we'll do a little commentary to part one of the first winter 2021-2022 update. This video was released and premiered on Sunday, the 5th of September 2021. I recorded it on the night of Saturday, the 4th of September 2021. And I can't actually remember all that much about this video, to be honest. So as we go through it, we will be discovering it together, and I'll be posting my thoughts and ideas, as we go through the video. So it's something different, something new. It's inspired by the commentary tracks that you get on DVD and Blu-ray movies and whatnot, the director's commentary. So it's something I have always thought about doing. And I thought it'd be fun, to try it out. I'm not uploading regular weather videos at the moment, as you know. I'm taking a break at the moment due to having quite a significant operation to remove a tongue cancer and also do a neck dissection. So I'm not speaking all that well. Hopefully you'll be able to follow the commentary, and you'll be able to hear what I'm saying. I'm hoping to get regular weather videos back very, very soon, maybe in a couple of weeks. But yeah, for this bank holiday money, this Easter bank holiday money, rather than doing a regular historic video, I thought we would do a commentary to this winter update part one. So I'll get on with that for you in a second. We'll discover this video together, and I'll get on with that for you in a moment. Just say that if you're enjoying the videos on the channel, and we're not uploading anywhere near as much as we normally do, but if you're enjoying what we are uploading, such as Sal's weathervids and also Gav's classics, then and this commentary video, then please can you like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much, everyone. For doing that. Right, so shall we get into part one of the first winter 2021-2022 update. As I say, I can't remember running order. I can't remember, what we look at in this video particularly. So it's going to be as much of a surprise for you as it is for me. But as we go along, I'll be sharing my thoughts and memories about this. Of course, it was all leading up to the winter forecast that we released at the end of September. It wasn't a particularly good forecast, I have to say, but I think the journey with winter updates for sort of last winter was probably the best that we've ever done. So I really enjoyed the winter updates last year, and I think most people did as well. It was a great journey. It's just a shame that we didn't end up with a better forecast. But anyway, let's start getting into it. I shall press play, and we're going to watch this together. So there he is. There's Gav. There I am, introducing part one of the first winter 2021-2022 update. Always difficult, when I do the introductions to get the balance right between not being overly long, but saying everything that I need to say. The introduction, is always important, particularly in terms of setting the scene of what we're going to be looking at in any particular video. And also in terms of thanking, my collaborators. So the long-range updates particularly, and particularly the winter updates, really are a collaboration between me and several other people. Richard Short, for example, the amazing Richard Short, Terry Scully, Ryan, brilliant as well, and back in the day, James Acril as well. So it's always important at the beginning of the videos to give the people that I work with, that help me so much and offer so much advice and support and whatnot, to give those people the credit that they deserve, and to give them a nice shout out and say thank you very much to them. Very, very important as well to do that, and very important, to set the scene for what we're going to be looking at in any particular update. So some people find the introductions overly long. I think over the years I have had people, complaining that the introductions are too long. I have scaled them back a little bit as the years have gone on. I think I'm a little bit better at speeding up the introduction and saying what I need to say in more of a contained way rather than being overly long about it. But the bottom line is, if you're working with people, you have to give those people the credit that you know they deserve. And as I say, the long range updates, particularly winter updates, are a proper collaboration between me and in this case like Richard, Schreien, and Terry as well. As we go along, we will see the work that Richard and Schreien did, you know, on the winter updates and on the winter forecast as well. The GIF was absolutely amazing this season for the winter 2021-2022 updates. Richard always does a fantastic job. I'm always constantly sort of surprised and amazed by the work, you know, that Richard does. The gifts that he comes up with. He's so creative. He's such a special man. And I'm always constantly surprised, amazed, overwhelmed by Richard's work. But this is one of the best gifts that Richard's ever done. I absolutely love this year's, or last year's, I suppose, winter updates gifts. So yeah, thank you so much to Richard for all of the constant amazing gifts. Okay, so I think my introduction there is just about done, and we're going to move on and begin video. So we begin part one of the first winter 2021-2022 update with QBO by the look of it, the quasi-biennial oscillation. I did not remember that, but it looks like we begin at NASA with this chart. It has become a little bit famous, actually, I think, over the last year or two. I never used to use this, you know, use these charts. I think it's Richard that first put me on to this website from NASA. I'm sure it's Richard who first put me on to this. And, you know, it's a very nice chart, this. It's very nice for establishing what the QBO is doing in a visual sense. So before, we always used to look at the numbers for the QBO, you know, the overall QBO numbers from NOAA and NASA and whatnot, particularly from NOAA. Actually, we're going to look at that in a moment. And, you know, they're useful. The numbers are useful. That's like the old-fashioned way of looking at the quasi-biennial oscillation. But it is nice to, like, have a visual sort of representation, you know, of what the QBO is doing as well. And this is a great way of depicting, like, the QBO from the stratosphere to the troposphere, the brown colours, of course, the western QBO, the blue and green colours there, the eastern QBOs. And so this is a very, very nice way, very nice chart showing the QBO descending, you know, from the troposphere down into the stratosphere. We did always explain and was very clear that eastern QBO does not guarantee a cold winter. So a lot of people, I think, thought that because we got an eastern QBO in descending phase, that winter 2021-2022 was going to be a cold winter. It increased the chance of a cold winter. It increased the chance of that happening, but it was not a guarantee, you know, that we come away with a colder than average winter. It really was quite a strong eastern QBO, but you can see that from the darks of the colours that I'm highlighting there, those deep sort of blue colours. So it was a pretty strong QBO, eastern QBO phase that we have, but not a guarantee of a cold average winter. Of course, as the winter updates went along, and we did the reanalysis for eastern QBO winters, we did explain, you know, that several of the eastern QBO winters are also milder winters. So it increases your possibility, and eastern QBO increases your possibility of a colder than average winter, but it does not guarantee anything. In the last winter, 2021-2022 was a pretty good example of that, I think. But yeah, I love this chart from NASA. You know, it's people find it very. The numbers are fine, but people find the numbers rather abstract at times, I think. So if you've got a number for like a monthly QBO, say a minus 15.25, here we are. We're on to NOAA now, and we're looking at the QBO numbers themselves. If you've got like a number of, let's say, minus 15.5, people find that rather abstract in terms of, you know, what that's going to mean atmospherically and in terms of climatology and in terms of weather. So it's always nice to be able to have a visual representation of what the number means. And that chart from NASA, which as I say has become rather famous now within our updates, or our winter updates, or long-range updates, you know, I think that's a very, very nice way of depicting what the QBO is doing in any particular phase. And thank you so much to Richard Short for putting me on to that NASA website. Right, so we've descended to 2021 here within the NOAA charts. I'm going through the monthly numbers. As I say, it's a rather dry and abstract way of looking at the QBO, but ultimately these numbers are very, very important, you know, to tell you how strong western or easterly QBO phase is. You can see that by August and in September, the QBO was already pretty strong. The eastern QBO was already pretty negative at minus 13.82. Of course, as we know, it did get even more negative as the autumn went along and into the winter. So it's a very, very quickly, rapidly descending strong eastern QBO phase. So look at how positive it is at the beginning of 2021 compared to the reversal that takes place by the time we get into the autumn. So we got a proper, we had a proper flip into a very strong eastern QBO phase. Did the eastern QBO get too strong? Is that one of the reasons why the cold winter didn't come together? I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, definitely there was a very, very quick flip from that long western QBO phase into the eastern QBO phase last year, and did not help our winter updates. So now we move on to the Stratosphere. So this is new, this is something new that we just started adding over the last year or two of winter updates. We never used to really, or I never used to look at stratospheric data all that much. So as the years have gone on, and what's happening in the stratosphere become more and more important to the winter itself in terms of whether we get a warming of stratosphere, whether we get a cold stratosphere, driving the polar vortex. So within the winter updates, I've also started adding stratospheric data. Now, because this first update is was recorded at the beginning of September, we barely have any stratospheric data to go at. So if you just about make that black line out there, it's from the JMA, of course, on the JMA chart, and you just about make out that black dot, which is this year's stratospheric temperature right at the beginning of September in Syria. It's very close to average, very close to the grey line, but really it's too early to be looking at the stratosphere, So what I'm doing here is setting things up. I'm setting up what we're going to be looking at in future updates and explaining, but we're going to be looking at stratospheric temperatures at 10 and 30 HPA, where those temperatures are, where they go, will be important, whether we get a cold stratosphere as the autumn progresses, whether we have a warm stratosphere, whether we have a southern stratospheric warming early on in the winter. This really is all about setting things up, as there's very little data to actually look at. Famous chart here from metociel.fr. So, again, this is temperatures at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over the North Pole, where we've got those blue colours. That's already the beginning of the polar vortex starting to form. So, very weakened polar vortex at this point, because it's early September, but the PV is there. And as we know, it did become a pretty strong PV by the time we got through to the winter. But again, this is all about setting things up. This is going to become much more important, as the winter updates go along, and we're going to look at it much more further down the track within the winter updates. So these updates are designed to be entertaining and informative within their own terms. Of course, they've got to work in their own terms, these winter updates. And each individual video has got to be entertaining and informative. But it also forms a wider whole, and this is something that does get a little bit lost, I think, or did you get a little bit lost within some of the winter updates in years gone by. But got a little bit better, I think, at sort of setting things up and explaining that certain elements will become more and more important as we go along. This is from weathercool.com. Of course, this was still showing the season before in terms of zone of winds, straight for zone of winds at 10 HPA. This is all showing zone of winds for winter 2020-21. So again, just explaining that we'll be looking at this further on in the updates. It will become more important, will become a bigger player. Right, we go on to solar activity. So famous image, this, I think, GavsWeatherVids is particularly famous for bringing solar activity to the fore. It's something that we've looked at a lot over the years, the influence of sunspot activity, of solar activity. It's always rather controversial, you know, and cutting edge and breaking the boundaries, pushing the boundaries, and whatnot. But you know, I've looked at solar activity within long range updates, particularly winter updates, right from the very start of GavsWeatherVids, and as long as I'm doing GavsWeatherVids, I will always look at solar activity. This is a new tracker from Schreier that we're looking at here. So of course James used to do our solar trackers, and thank you so much, you know, to all of the years service but James Aquil gave with the solar tracker. But for this season of updates, Schreier took over the solar tracker. And I think Schreier did an absolutely fantastic job of bringing us the solar data in terms of the solar tracker through this season. So here I am sort of explaining that we've been at a very low level of solar activity, but we're past solar minimum. We was past solar minimum when I did this first update. And still getting some spotless days though. So the thing with solar activity is that a lot of people think that if you're around solar minimum or after solar minimum, similar to using QBO, I suppose, it will guarantee that you get a colder than average winter. But there are no guarantees, never a guarantee for a colder than average winter for the UK and for Northern Europe due to our place in the world, you know, next to the Atlantic Ocean, the mighty Atlantic, with the Gulf Stream. There's never a guarantee. All that is happening is that these elements, like the QBO, like solar activity, they are increasing the chance of a colder than average winter. You know, if you're around solar minimum, you're increasing the chance of a cold winter. If you're in an eastern QBO, you're increasing the chance of a cold winter. But you're not guaranteeing that we will get a colder than average winter at all. But nevertheless, solar activity remains very, very important. You know, it remains a very, very important element within our updates. And as long as I'm doing winter updates, solar activity will continue to form a big part, excuse me, within our winter 2000, within our winter updates, you know, within our long range updates. I nearly said within our winter 2022, 2023 updates. But I'm getting ahead of myself because, you know, got to wait and see whether I actually get to do winter updates of 2021, 2022, 2023 this season. I don't know if I will get to do them or not. Another fantastic, but I'm hoping that I will. You know, I'm hoping that by then all the treatment that I'm having for this mouth cancer, you know, by then that'll be a thing of the past, and we'll be back to normal. That's very much what I'm hoping for. This is another chart from Schreier. Schreier did such a fantastic job with all of the tracker charts, you know. Thank you so much to Schreier. Brilliant. This one is showing solar cycles 24-25, you know, and absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to Schreier. This is from Richard. I remember this well. This is from Richard Trott. So I think Richard was on holiday while I did this first winter update in September. I'm sure Richard was having a break, but he still did this. You know, Richard still did this for us. So I love it. I love this. Thank you so much for showing the spotless stage and the current spotless stretch. So again, you see how big the solar minimum year was from 24-25 in 2019. I had 77% of the year, 281 days. You know, without sunspots. That reversed, of course, into 2021, where solar cycle 25 was really starting to pick up. So I only had 56 days without sunspot, but nevertheless, that was still 23% of the year. So still, for like second year of solar cycle, still pretty weak year, really, and comparable, as I'm showing there, to 2010. Of course, we had a very different outcome though in 2021 to what we had in 2010 in terms of the winter. But yeah, you know, it's interesting that we had another very, very long solar minimum from solar cycles 24 into solar cycle 25. I'm always amazed and outstanded by the work that Richard does on our long range updates, particularly the winter updates as well. But on all the long range updates and like Solar Sunday and GavsWeatherVids Sunny Roundup, Richard is such an important and integral part to GavsWeatherVids. You know, I couldn't do the updates that I do right now without the input from Richard. So Richard, you know, plays a very, very important, very pivotal role in our updates. So I just thank Richard so very, very much, you know, for all of the support that he's given to me, and also that he's given to GavsWeatherVids over these past several years. And I know Rich will be watching this commentary video, and here's to more, you know, here's to more videos and long range updates and long range forecasts. Rich, definitely. So sorry everyone. Right, we're coming to the end of section 1 of part 1 of the first Winter 2022 update. So gifts back, I love it. Thank you very much, Rich, for the gifts. So that sort of set the scene. I think that opening little section set the scene quite nicely for the rest of the stuff that we're going to be looking at. But of course, not done yet. Still got plenty more to look at, and there you go. Pause the video. That's something I started doing quite a lot, you know, in more recent years, adding those little break moments, because I do appreciate that these long range updates, particularly winter updates, are so long that people just, you know, it's asking a lot for people to sit down to like 30, 40, 50 minutes and watch me continuously. You know, it's asking a lot for them to do that. So I appreciate that a lot of people, some people, you know, like to watch it all in one go. And for those people, you know, that's absolutely fine. And thank you so much for doing that. But I appreciate that a lot of people, you know, haven't got time, you know, and just can't watch it all in one go. So I like to put in those little breaks, you know, those little sections, break the video up into like section 1, section 2, section 3, and so on, and let people sort of go off and digest what they're seeing, and then come back once again and return to the video, you know, in their own time. As the videos are released once a week, then everybody has that period where they've got that weekly period, you know, where they can watch it in bite sizes and so on, if they want. And I think that works quite nicely. And yeah, that's something that I've added a lot more over the years, those breaks and moments that allow people to just stop the video, pause the video, stop the video, go off and digest what they've seen, and maybe come back to it if they want. And if they don't want to, then they don't have to. And it doesn't really affect the people who want to watch the whole thing in one go. Those people, you know, if we're premiering, for example, it makes a nice sort of funny moment, a nice comic moment. But yeah, I think people do appreciate the breaks that we put in. I hope they do anyway. Right, we moved on to sea surface temperature anomalies. Yeah, old classic, of course, right from the very beginning of our winter updates and forecasts, when the very first one was 2012, 2013. We have always looked at sea surface temperature anomalies. So famous chart. This is slightly different to the old-fashioned version that we used to look at back in the day, but you know, it's very similar. Not really changed all that much. This chart from NOAA. And yeah, you know, this is like an old classic, an old favourite, and I know everybody has their various sort of favourites that we look at within our long range updates, and particularly within the winter updates. Some people like the solar stuff, some people like TPO, some people like sea surface temperature anomalies. I think sea surface temperature anomalies tends to be one of the fan favourites. Certainly the stats in terms of viewing numbers bear that out. But these are always quite, you know, well watched by the public. It's a very, very nice way, you know, very easy way of seeing what's going on within the oceans. Of course, the more abstract sort of thing, though, is what those charts, what those ocean charts mean in terms of the weather itself. And that's always a little bit of a jump for some people, I think. This is a little bit new. This is something that we started adding, not this year, but the year before. I think 2021. So this is an anomaly. This is a change within the oceans in a 7-day period, a 7-day trend, if you like. And yeah, I don't know whether this really adds a great deal to the updates, but I like to see the change within the oceans, because it is surprising how the oceans change, you know, so much within just a weekly period, how much of a change it can get, particularly in like the more shallow waters. So I always find that quite interesting. But in terms of the actual forecast itself, remember each one of these updates is building up the picture for the forecast, but we're going to get to eventually after like 13 updates. It's all going to culminate in the forecast. I'm not sure whether those 7-day trend charts add a great deal, but you know, people seem to like them when I include them over the past couple of years. So they'll probably, if I do winter updates for 2022, 2023, then I think they'll come back. So we're on to the SOI now. Southern Oscillation Index. I never used to include this, but I started bringing this in like 2 or 3 years ago. I always thought it was going to be hard and does take quite a while to explain what the SOI is. You know, the fact that it's depicting barometric pressure between Tahiti and Darwin, and then your overall SOI number tells you whether you're in an a La Nina or whether you're in an El Nino. So I always, you know, thought that would take a lot of explaining. It does take quite a bit of explaining, but I've got better in sort of breaking it down and just you know, just explaining it in its most simplest terms. But we can see here that the SOI have been in a positive phase, you know, because we're in La Nina, the SOI have been in a positive phase for several months and was to stay positive. You know, the positive SOI is going to remain right way through winter 2021-2022. Good forecast here from CFSB2. So we give the CFS a lot of stick. I've given it a lot of stick over the years. And I still don't rate it particularly highly in terms of its overall forecast, you know, seasonal forecast. But I have to say, the last couple of years, in terms of ENSO, in terms of the La Nina that we have for both 2021 and again for 2021-2022, I have to take my hat off, you know, to CFSB2 because both years it's got it bang on. Both years it's got it absolutely bang on. So so yeah, you know, I have to give it a lot of credit. I have to give it a lot of credit for that. Right, we're back to the ocean chart, and we're going to look at the Indian Ocean, I think, next. So this is, again, something that I never used to include, never really used to look at the Indian Ocean. Historically, traditionally, I always used to focus on the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. Never really took much interest in the Indian Ocean. That kind of changed a little bit after the polar vortex of doom winter 2019-20, where we had a very strongly positive IOD. And certainly, you know, a lot of people thought that at least contributed to the polar vortex of doom that we had in 2019-20. I don't know if it played that big a role in it or not, but there was a lot of interest in the IOD, you know, from that winter. And so for 2020, 2021, I thought we'll start including the Indian Ocean as well. It does extend the video a little bit, you know, adds a few more minutes onto the video. I'm always wary of adding time onto the video, but you know, I think you know, it doesn't add a great deal of time onto it. We're already looking at the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans anyway, so people seem to enjoy looking at the IOD. So I thought, you know, and I think why not include the IOD as well. So here we are with some forecasts for what the IOD is likely to do for winter 2021-2022. I think these forecasts came out okay. So a negative IOD has been forecast for the autumn, neutral to negative, and then increasingly towards neutral, you know, for winter 2021-2022 itself. I think there's some Bureau of Meteorology. So I think the forecast worked out when it wasn't a particularly positive IOD that we had last winter. It was, I think, generally neutral. So the fact that we didn't get a cold winter, the fact we had a mild winter, I don't think that can be laid at the door of the Indian Ocean dipole either. So yeah, you know, it's an interesting factor. Again, does the IOD looking at the Indian Ocean add a great deal to the winter forecast? I don't know, you know, but I think it's worth including it. I think it's worth including it. It's worth you know, taking those few moments. Now this is an old favourite right away from the beginning of the winter updates in 2019 and in 2012, you know, right back from then, we used to look at, or we have looked at hurricane activity, looked at the scores on the doors from Wikipedia, the Wikipedia page for the particular year, in this case, 2021. And yeah, you know, this is a bit of an old favourite, bit of a fan favourite. I think that I like to include within the winter updates and winter forecasts. This is Joe Bastardi theory. The idea, I'm explaining it here. The idea that hurricanes and tropical storms are transporting heat and energy via heat, you know, from the tropics to the pole via the mid-latitudes. And if you get lots of heat being dumped within the pole from the tropic, then eventually that can translate back to an increased risk of northern blocking and a cold winter. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it works okay. Obviously, this last winter just gone was one of those occasions where it didn't work out. Now, this is on Schreier. Schreier has become the master of ACE, or the ACE master. So again, more influence here from Schreier and Broom, and you know, Schreier and Richard did such an incredible job on last year's winter updates. I can't, you know, I can't thank them enough, both Schreier and Richard, for the amazing job that they did on last season's winter updates. It was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much to both of them. So here we are with the ACE number up to the beginning of September, and already, you know, quite a high number there, 52 for accumulated cyclone energy. So yeah, we know that increased further, and it did become an above normal year, although not hyperactive. So we had above normal ACE, but it didn't end up with like a hyperactive ACE last season. But I wonder what we're going to get below normal season. So the last few seasons you see there have been both above normal and also being hyperactive. I wonder whether this coming season, 2021, 2022 I should say, I'm looking at the date here at the bottom of the screen, 2021, but I wonder whether the ACE of 2022 will be below average. If it is, it'll be the first time, I think, we saw that 2015 had below average ACE. But then again, I think La Nina might carry on, you know, for another year. Might have like a third La Nina. And if it does, then that will tend to increase your risk of the risk of like a bigger hurricane tropical storm season in the Atlantic. So that's going to be interesting to see. Right, we're coming into the third and final section now of the part one of the first winter 2021-2022 update. Another little break there to allow people to stretch their legs. And here we are, I'm back again, and I have something quite interesting to say here. So let's just turn up and have a listen. I've got a little bit more to show you, and I wanted to begin this third and final part with Eurasian snow cover. So that is how Eurasian snow cover is currently looking. So you go on to Eurasian snow cover next here. So yeah, we're on to Eurasian snow cover. Again, this is very much setting up, you know, very much setting up the various elements that we're going to be looking at later on. So this again, one of those things that becomes more important later on, kind of like the stratospheric stuff. So that becomes more important later on. This also becomes more important in later updates. But once again, the earlier updates, you know, have their own things to look at, and we've looked at some of those, but also set up what's going to happen further down the road. And yeah, you know, that's always been a fan favourite in terms of the Eurasian snow cover chart. That's always been like a big favourite within the winter updates. I've looked at that right from the very start of the winter updates back in 2012. And I know from the beginning stats that seeing that Eurasian snow cover sweeping across Russia and into Europe, you know, through the autumn, is always one of the things that people love to see. I think because it makes a connection to winter. A lot of the stuff, as I've already said, with our winter updates is quite abstract, you know, in terms of the winter updates and winter forecast itself. But Eurasian snow cover, you're able to make that connection between where it's all going and seeing the snow cover developing and forming and sweeping across Eurasia. You know, a visual sort of representation of where everything's going, where it's all going to land up, and the fact that each of these individual updates are very important, you know, in terms of the overall winter itself. So I think that's the reason, but it's such a fan favourite, and people like to see that, you know, like to see that change week on week as the snow cover advances. Now with this is something I started adding a few years ago. This is looking at Arctic sea ice extent. Again, I'm not sure, you know, whether this adds a great deal to the forecast itself. It's quite controversial whether, like the years that have less ice, you know, do they increase the chance of a cold winter or not. The jury is out. I think people will discuss it and debate it, whether it makes much difference if you have a big melt season or not. But after the 2012 melt season, where we got the record minimum, of course, we had that cold winter for 2012-13. There was a little bit of speculation afterwards that the big melt season that we had in 2012 might have at least contributed to some degree to that cold winter. So that's the reason that it's included, you know, within the winter updates. It's one of the elements that I'm not sure whether, you know, every year I'm always unsure whether to keep it in or take it out. But we only look at this like the first 1 or 2 updates anyway, and then of course the refreeze starts. So, you know, I don't think it matters really if we look at it for the first 1 or 2 updates. I wouldn't want to keep looking at it, I don't think, every week for like 12 or 13 weeks. But this is one of those elements that kind of gets put on the shelf a little bit after updates number 2 or 3. And then we focus much more on the more significant impact and the fan favourite of Eurasian snow cover. I like this chart because we're able to, you know, go back and back and back. Right way to, do I go as far back in 1979? I can't remember whether I do, but it does show the change within Arctic sea ice extent. You know, it shows the change and over the years, the fact that we have lost more ice as the years have gone on and whatnot. But yeah, you know, that's always something that I like to look at in the opening update. But I wouldn't want to focus on that too much within you know the within the whole of the winter updates. I wouldn't want to go on about that for like 13 weeks. But I think for the first 1 or 2 updates, it's useful. And then, so we're at the end of part 1 of the first winter 2021-2022 update now. Wow, it's gone so quickly, hasn't it? And this is sort of setting up what we're going to look at in part 2, which, if everybody remembers, was the teaser winter idea. And during the controversial, that was a very, very controversial idea. And there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of views about that. I won't talk about that at the end of this video, but if I do a commentary to part 2, and if you want to see a commentary to part 2 of the first winter 2021-2022 update, then please let me know. You know, please let me know in the comments, and I will try and do commentary to part 2 as well. But we've ended there, you know, setting up the second part of the first winter update, which again, you know, that's something new, that's something different as well. So it was for 2022 2021 updates, I should say. That we started, you know, looking, splitting up winter updates, started splitting them up, and I was very unsure about that. Let's just pause the video there, because I think it's pretty much at the end. So I'm just sort of summing up the video, summing up part 1, and explaining, you know, that we're going to go on to part 2, and again, saying thank you to my collaborators and whatnot. But I think we'll pause the video there, we'll stop the video there. So, yeah, you know, I think I'll just talk a little bit about how we split up the winter update, because that was a big change that we had, you know, for 2020, 2021 updates, splitting them up into 2 parts. I was very unsure about it, you know, and even now I'm unsure whether that was a good change or not. I think it was a good change. You know, I think splitting them up into 2 parts, although part 2, which is the analogues, always is viewed, has lower viewer figures compared to part 1. Nevertheless, that would happen anyway, even if we had it all as one, you know, one big video like we used to back in the day. I can see from the viewer stats that a lot of people would just check out when the analogs appear anyway within those big videos. So I always knew that like the part 2s, the number 2s, with the analogs side of things, I always knew that those would get lower ratings, than part 1. So I was always expecting that. That's what happened. But I think it was a correct decision. Correct decision for me, definitely. Because I was getting so tired doing those mega updates. So yeah, for me it was a correct decision. I think for the viewer it was a correct decision. I know some people would prefer to see them all as one whole. Some people didn't like the change, but I think that it worked. It worked quite well. And if I do manage to do winter updates and winter forecast 2022-2023 this year, then again they will be in 2 parts. Definitely, I will need that anyway because I'll still be recovering from the medical dilemmas and issues that are going on at the moment with me. So, excuse me, I'd be unable, I think, to do like huge mega videos. And in fact, if I do winter updates 2022-2023, I would imagine I'll be kind of slimmed down probably a little bit compared to like the more traditional videos. So some of the stuff I might have to take out. Yeah, I'll just have to see how I am. I think just have to see how I am by the time I get through to September. But I might have to do just for this year. I might have to do like a rather slimmed down sort of version. But we'll see about that when we get to it. Okay, so that's the commentary done for the, for part 1 of the first winter 2021-2022 update. I hope you enjoyed it, everybody. I hope you, hope you found it interesting. I hope I've been able to shed a little bit of light on the process of winter updates. It's always amazing for me how I get the running order. And whatnot. That's what I enjoy doing. On a Saturday night, getting all the charts loaded up, working out where each individual thing is going to be placed. So do we start with QBO? Do we start off with solar? Do we end with sea surface temperature anomalies? Do we end with duration, snow cover? What do we have in the middle? Does the middle sort of flag? Do we start off good, then we have a bit of a flag in the middle, and then we end on a climax. That's what I enjoy doing on Saturday night, getting the running order together. So that's always one of my favourite things, from doing the winter update. But I hope I have shed a little bit of light on the process that's involved in the winter updates, the work that goes into it, particularly from like Ryan and Richard and Terry, all of the people that help out and contribute so much to the winter updates, winter forecast, and I hope you enjoyed this commentary video. If you'd like to see more commentaries, particularly to part 2 of the first winter update, looking at the teaser winters, if you want to see the commentary to that, and I'll give you some thoughts about that, and the controversies that surround the teaser winter idea and whatnot. If you'd like to see the commentary to part 2 of this first winter 2021-2022 update, then please let me know in the comments, and I'll try and get that done for you. In the next week or two. Maybe we could release that on the next bank holiday Monday in replacement of a historic video. We'll have to see about that. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody, for spending this time with me. I hope you've been able to understand what I've been saying. I appreciate I'm not talking very well. I think I've done quite well, though, to speak, for over half an hour on this commentary video. So I hope I've been understandable, and thank you so much for spending this time with me on this commentary. And if you want to see more, then please let me know in the comments. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday Monday. But just close that down. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday Monday. And that's all for now. And thank you so much for watching.